Do I need to turn this around? Rochelle? Do I? Okay. Okay. Good. Well, welcome everybody. This is a great
black border, which made it much more enticing to me. I didn't like the ones that were cream and beige and brown. Those were flat for me. I liked that brightness. Um, Another thing I remember as a little girl going to my grandma's, and I dug through her jewelry box. She had such gorgeous things, and I have some of it today, and I wear it. Um, she didn't have pierced ears, so all of the earrings that I have are quite large, and you could beat around those very easily, or you could drop them. You could actually take that backing off and drop them, whatever. I haven't done anything like that. I haven't changed anything about those, but I remember all of those fancy things, all of those sparkly things. I mean, I was riveted. uh, I can't really remember any part of my life where I didn't like that kind of stuff. The fancier, the better. The sparkles. My Aunt Rosie, she, same thing. She dressed to the hilt, and always gorgeous jewelry. And she always had nice fingernails. And when I was 5 and 6, they would come and visit, and she would file my nails for me and polish them. Well, that was a whole nother thing with color, the bright reds and the fuchsias and pinks, purples, uh, all. I loved all of it. And then as I got older, my love for beautiful things just got broader. And the 20s, the 1920s, and all of that opulence, all of that glitz and glitter and glamour. Boy, I was really into that. When I was right before high school, probably 7th and 8th grade, I came from a small town. It was like 300 people, and it still is only about 300 people. And there wasn't a whole lot to do except cowboys and Indians, and you played with your neighbors and your cousins, because everybody lived there and you knew everybody. But when I was that age, like I said, summer of between my 7th and 8th grades, maybe between my 6th grade, we had 3 TV channels that we could get. We were in the boonies, and it was Green Bay, Channel 5, and every day during the week at 3:30, they showed a movie. And it was usually a 1940s movie, musicals and thrillers and whatever it was. There was a lot of glitz and glitter. Loved that Art Deco stuff, all that elegance, all of that extravagant woodwork and lights, stained glass. Those massive staircases. It was all in those movies, and I ate that up. I loved it, and I still do to this day. Anyway, 3:15 came in the afternoon, and I would run across the street. My aunt and uncle had a tavern, and of course they had ice cream at that tavern. And I used to get a double header. Chocolate or butter pecan or maple nut, never vanilla or cherry. And I would take that home, dump it in a bowl, throw the cone away, and then I would stuff whole cashews into this ice cream and pour a bunch on top. And that's how I watched those movies every day, all summer. I absolutely loved it. What a life, huh? Well, then high school came, and I was a wallflower. I just really was not good at socializing. We had a group of probably 10 or 12 girls and 10 or 12 guys, and we would get together, and the dances, and I never danced. Uh, the basketball games, and I never liked those either because it was sweaty and hot and it didn't smell good. And the football games, I never cheered. I went because you have to go, right? But that was kind of like what socially I did in high school. Wasn't very social, and I didn't like I didn't like most of my classes. I liked English because I liked um, breaking those sentences down with all the lines underneath, and the adverbs and all of that stuff. That I liked, and my teacher was an older woman, and every 2 weeks she went to the beauty salon, and she had her hair pin curled. You could tell that, and finger waved, kind of like mine, pin curl. That's what I did last night. I pin curled my whole head because I need a perm so bad. Anyway, she also had a blue rinse put in, which is kind of like what I do too, right? Purple shampoo. Anyway, she was my favorite. And then there was my art class. And this teacher was 6'5" and about 350 or 400 pounds. He was massive. He was scary. And he gave me a D- in art.
Oh.
Well, he this one day he said, this is what we're going to do. And he gave everybody a piece of white paper. And he said, now I want you to draw lines and then straight lines. And then I want you to color those lines. And so we did that. And the kid next to me, a guy next to me, he came over to him and he looked at his piece and he said, wow, Alan, that's really good. You did exactly what I asked you to do. And then he turned to my paper and he said, Miss King, there isn't a straight line on this sheet of paper. I asked you for straight lines. Well, I had curves and curlicues and colored beautifully, all different colors. Great looking, I thought. But, that's part of my D-. Anyway, that was kind of the bottom of the barrel for me. A D-. Oh my God, that was just, I almost couldn't bear it. Well, then I graduated and I had no idea what I wanted to do. And my mother, there were three girls, three of us. And my mother always wanted us to be nurses. And my older sister was great at typing and taking dictation, shorthand. She was marvelous at that. And I don't know how many words a minute, but man, that typewriter, those keys just clicked away. And I took the same class she took, and my typing was 130 or 160 words with 123 mistakes. So I knew I couldn't get a job anywhere in any office, right? But my younger sister, she got the closest. She became an X-ray tech and did that for quite some time. And then, of course, she got married and had kids and the whole thing. I thought, well, maybe I could I could do something in the medical field because my mother wanted somebody to do that, right? And I was the middle child, by the way. My younger sister was the one that was the X-ray tech. Anyway, there was at the local hospital a program where you could get on the job training for a surgical tech. And I thought, well, you know, I would probably really like that. And why I thought that is beyond me, because, you know, when I cut my finger, I almost passed out. And I couldn't imagine looking at somebody opening up a body. But I don't know. I did it. I went and made an appointment and went to the meeting, and come to find out they didn't have any openings for that. But they told me that St. Vincent's in Green Bay had a program that was similar. So I went to St. Vincent's, made the appointment, went to St. Vincent's. And after a lengthy interview, I find out that I would have to go to college for 4 years and then do another year as like an apprentice. If they had an opening, they may not have an opening. So I said, okay, first of all, 5 years of schooling, I don't want any part of that. So we went right over to the Wisconsin College of Cosmetology and registered. It was 1963. Big hair was in, and I had quite a bit of experience with that because my sister and her friends, they were 4 years my senior, and so they dated and were getting married and all that kind of stuff. And several of them would come to our house, and I would tease their hair. My cousin's girlfriend, every Saturday late afternoon, I would put her hair in a French twist and do curly cues and fancy her up, and, you know, put stuff in her hair to glitz it up. So I had that experience. And I also had pin curl experience, which is quite the art when you do it like they do it in beauty school. Anyway, I was in grade school, and the wife of the janitor at our church asked me if I could do her hair. And I said, well, sure, not knowing exactly what it was going to involve. But anyway, so every Saturday morning, my girlfriend and I would, we'd go to church, had to go to church, and then we'd go to Mrs. Vera, and she would shampoo her hair, and Kay, my girlfriend, would make bacon and eggs and toast. And I would set Mrs. Vera's hair in pin curls, and she had a great head of hair. I mean, wow, it was gray and white, salt and pepper, and it was stiff as could be. So when you got that pin curl in there and it dried, it was like, boom, you know, you'd have to hit it with a hammer in order to straighten it out, right? Anyway, then we'd have breakfast together, and Mrs. Vera would give me 50 cents. She'd give me a $50. It was never 2 quarters. It was never any other change. It was always a $50. And so that was my pre-high school experience and my pre-beauty college experience. So anyway, there I was, 60s, big hair. And, you know, I was in my prime. The bigger the hair, the better. And I aced beauty school. I graduated at the top of the class, and it was all good. I was really enjoying myself. And I was good at it. I learned very quickly. Even the technical stuff, which amazes me. But every day when we'd come home from school at 5 o'clock, I would, we'd have a little supper. And we lived at the Catholic Women's Club in Green Bay, which is now, it has been torn down for many years. But that place was amazing. When we'd come home for lunch, the woman that lived there, and she was the organizer, maybe the president even, of the Catholic Women's Club. And when we would come home for lunch, we'd enter through the front door and go into the kitchen. And when you entered the front door, directly to the left was this magnificent parlor. Again, so Art Deco, so beautiful woodwork, floral carpeting, hardwood floors. The furniture was fabulous. It was old, and some of it probably not in real good condition. I didn't notice that. I just noticed that I liked the decor and the building itself. Anyway, we would kind of got off track there. We would go home from school at 5, come home from school at 5. And I would go into my bedroom. We all had separate rooms, and I would study, because there was a lot of technical stuff with where massage was involved, with scalp treatments, and down the neck. You had to learn the bones and the arteries, all the vessels, and all the muscles. And yet technically you had to know those names and how to manipulate them. So I studied every night, and of course that's why I aced the class. But after beauty school, and got my license, and then I got my manager's license. But I worked at a store here, salon here in Wausau, and it was the salon to be in, because they did all the big hair, all the fancy stuff, all the teasing, and for weddings and prom and long hair. I mean, I was in heaven. I loved doing that. And I worked there for about 6 months. And there was a salon in Hadley where I came from. And the manager there, the owner there, wanted me to come and work for her. Finally, I gave in, and I went there. But and a lot of my clientele followed me. But I couldn't stay there. It wasn't exciting enough for me. So I went back to the other salon. And after 2 years and my manager's license, I decided I wanted to open a salon of my own. And in the meantime, I got married. And so we opened this salon together. For our wedding gift, my mom and dad gave us the down payment for a building. It had a house and what had been a little grocery store. And we opened a salon there. And that was a challenge. That was November 1967. And then 2 years later, 1969, we had another big change, another challenge. We had a baby girl. And it was definitely a challenge, running a salon, working like that, and having a baby. But eventually we bought a different house and converted the other part where we lived, the other part of the salon, into a spa. And we did that for 42 years. And then tragedy hit. And Bruce and Hazel, our daughter's 30-year-old husband and 5.5-year-old daughter, were killed in a car accident. And it devastated me. It took my breath away. I fell to my knees. It brought me absolutely to my knees, and I could not function. I lost all zest for life, and I didn't think I was going to ever make it out of that. And it took me 8 years to finally accept reality, and I tried to get back into life because jumping off a bridge just wasn't doing it for me. I couldn't quite go there. So anyway, I did several things after that. I went to the local department store, and lo and behold, there was an opening in the fine jewelry department. So I took that. And then insurance. I worked at insurance for a short period of time, but that wasn't enough fun for me. That was depressing. And then one day, my daughter and I were at the local bead store, the String Bead, and maybe many of you know about that place. And when we walked out of there, I said to my daughter, you know, if ever I worked anywhere again that I liked, I think this would be the place. So the next day I found that I needed some other supplies. I'd forgotten some stuff. So I went back, and this nice young lady helped me. And she was having so much fun, I could tell. And I said, I'll bet you really like this job, right? She said, yep. I said, you wouldn't happen to have any openings for another person here, right? She said, well, as a matter of fact, in fall, we have 3 people who are in high school now, and they are going to college. So absolutely, we're going to need some. So I gave her my information, and the next day, the manager called me, and we made an appointment, and she hired me. So there I was at the String Bead working, and I worked there for 2 years. And then the owner decided to retire and close the store. And so I said, well, Wausau still needs a bead store, and if I can get the funding, I'm going to do it. So that's how Stoned and Wired came to be. And it's been quite a ride. And you know what they say about that ride, right? I'm gonna read this to you because it's good. Life's journey is not to arrive at the grave safely in a well-preserved body, but rather to skid in sideways, totally worn out, shouting, holy shit, what a ride. And that's where I am. I'm on that ride. A novice beater, but an experienced businesswoman. And I jumped in, sink or swim, as I say, and I'm still above water. That's like 12, almost 13 years ago. I'm pretty much a self-taught beater. Rarely do I use a pattern. Every once in a while I do. I do peyote stitch, so I incorporate a lot of that in my work. But like I said, rarely a pattern. And remember, I'm that D- student in art, so that shouldn't surprise anybody. I break rules with color, with size, with dimension, but I always retain the balance. And even when I'm having a bad day in my store, it's really not a bad thing. When I look around, when I visualize what is here within these walls, the beauty, the miracles. Remember, they grow. The stones grow from the earth. Even the glass comes from the earth. It's absolutely amazing to me. And the possibilities. I'm an optimist. I like challenges. I don't give up easily. I may put things aside for a time, but I always come back to them. Like even COVID. It was horrendous. I was closed for about 8 weeks because I wasn't, essential. It was a time for me to inspect though, and to rejuvenate. And that was good for me. So life can be complicated, but there is that ride. You can wait or you can take it. You can take that ride. And I'm taking it. I am on that ride. So that's all I've got. The ride. So if anybody has any questions, ask them. I guess I'm going to walk around my store and show you some of what's there. Or Rochelle, are you going to show the pictures? I'm not sure.
How did you pick the
Show
name?
some me.
Say again. I'm sorry.
How did you pick the name Stoned and Wired?
Well, I was raised in the 60s. So, even though I never got stoned, I can get pretty wired. And so that's how I picked it. And, there's stones involved. I do a lot of wire wrapping, or I did at one time. So it just seemed like a natural.
Cool. Like it.
Thank you.
We can show your pictures here. There you go. This is her shop in Wausau, Wisconsin. So if you're on your summer vacations to the lake or the cabin and you're driving by, stop on through. What are your hours at your shop?
I am here Tuesday from 11 to 6, and Thursday and Friday, 11 to 5. And since COVID, the town absolutely closes up at 3. So I'm here from 11 to 3, unless I've got people in my store. Of course, I'm going to stay open. But if it's a slow day, like, at 3 o'clock, then I usually close, unless I have an appointment also. That would keep me here. I'm closed on Mondays and Wednesdays. And I used to be open more hours, but my former husband lives with me, and he is disabled, and I have a lot of things that I must do for him. So Mondays and Wednesdays, I spend a little time here, but I'm not really open.
What about weekends?
Well, I'm here on Saturday. If somebody calls me and is going to be in town on Sunday, I will absolutely be here and open the store for them.
Cool. That's nice.
And that happens on occasion.
Your
And,
store is so cute with the red door. It looks really inviting.
Yeah, I like the red door.
So is it mainly freeform peyote that you do?
I do wire wrapping.
Oh, wire wrap. Okay.
Yeah, I do wire wrapping. But yeah, it's generally some sort of peyote, or I just kind of wing it. If I see it's looking too strict, as you can see from the pictures, I don't do really real simple things. Only a few. Only if I'm asked to do something, and I don't do a repeat unless they're, again, somebody for a wedding party wants everybody to have exactly the same bracelet, which, not everybody likes the same thing. So I like to throw in the idea that maybe we could do more than one simple thing, and have some input from the people.
What is this?
Pardon me?
The necklace on the left here. This is super 3-dimensional mixed media. What is this orangey one?
Oh, the cord that's on there. Well,
what is it?
It's a necklace, and it's just got a lot done with a cord. It's done with Eslon.
Okay.
And yeah, and so I've done lots of knots and taking several strands of it and wrapping the thread around it multiple times to make that clasp, that large loop that goes over the big flower. But it's all just adding beads and knots and dropping some things down, dangles.
Very nice. I like that.
You're very creative. Your art teacher missed the boat.
Right. I mean, because yeah, this is just so cool with all the filigree, the stones. I mean, like you said, there's, they're not symmetrical, but they're well balanced.
Yeah, and that piece that you have up with the butterfly, it's the yellow piece.
Mhm.
That those two yellow pieces, or what looks like a block, those are actually two pieces. Yes, and that I have a customer who brings me on a regular basis her stretch bracelets that have broken, and that was a Leah Sophia bracelet, and I had too many pieces. I don't put it on stretchy material, on elastic. I always, when I remake something for someone, it always goes on beading wire with a clasp, and or a button and a loop, one or the other. And there were too many pieces, so I said to Debbie, how about I do something with some of these pieces? And I said, I can put them on this butterfly, or I can put them on this other thing. And she chose the butterfly. So I just completed that last week for her. And now I'm going to finish the bracelet this week so that she can have the two together.
Very nice.
Thank you. But I do stuff like that all the time, where I remake things for people.
I just like to make a comment about your teacher. In his defense, he was trained to not think. I'm serious, because I interviewed for a teaching job, and I told them that I like to use, methods, more modern methods to help the students learn. And they said, no, we want a traditional, you buy the book. So, and I know in the 60s, they were not, they were totally by the book, and they were told, this is exactly how you have to do it. And there was no thinking outside the box like you were doing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I get that, I was different.
You're a good kind of different.
Yeah, your work is really uniquely creatively different. And so that's a great thing.
Now you see this piece way to the right with all the orange and such. It's my let's see, I think I call it my mysterious sea monster or something like that. But my card that says Leocadia Designs, that is actually a picture of me from the 60s when I had my hair red, and then the top part was bleached blonde. And the name Leocadia is actually my baptismal name. My mother wanted Leanne, and there was no Saint Leanne, so it was my grandma's name, Leocadia. And they called her Lil. And it was probably the same thing, that we got to have a saint there. But she loved lilies, so that was really appropriate, because in either German or Russian, Leocadia actually means lily or Lillian. So interesting. Okay, well then, I did stuff on fabric. I beaded collars and cuffs, and made my own jackets, and did beading and ribbon work on it. And that picture on the right, of course, is part of that. And then in the little bag. And the piece on the left, I did because I broke my wrist a year ago, February, and I was one-handed. So I had to do something. And so I started painting on clothing, on fabric. And that's part of a few of those designs that I have done. And walls, I paint on walls. I paint on lampshades. I did that too. I had to do something. I could not just, sit around, not do anything. I couldn't bead because of my broken wrist. And I got really far behind on that, but I did other things. So thank you for letting me show my wares and tell you about myself.
Let's walk on the store. So now do we get a tour around your
Yes.
store?
Yes, absolutely. Let's we're going to start. Well, you've probably seen my seed beads because they have been behind me while I spoke. But I have 3 6-foot cases. And
We're sideways.
oh, okay.
There you go.
Yeah, I didn't know if you could see it better that way. Larger. And then I have some other containers of things that don't fit in my cases. And I have delicas. So I have quite an assortment of delicas, which I like using those too. But probably my favorite would be 15s and 11s. And then I have a nice array of smaller glass beads that you certainly can incorporate into your beadwork. And then I have these. They come from Mexico. There are artists down there that are teaching the indigenous people a trade. And I like to support that. So that's what those are. And then I like leaves. So I have a tremendous amount of leaves. Almost every piece that I do has some sort of leaf in it. And I have scarves and some yarn, some fabric, lots of just interesting small beads, leather. Here's some more leaves. I just can't get enough of those leaves.
I know all the check glass is so pretty. I love
Yes.
how many colors.
Oh,
finish.
yeah. Fascinating. And then I have clothing. Some of it is vintage, some leather. And that big rounder it's so massive. And I love it. I love the pedestal. Look at those feet. That is Art Deco for sure. But it's too big. So I am going to sell that and make a bar over my door in this second room. And I'm going to show you these fabrics because before COVID hit, I was going to do some little bags. And I even have some kits put together. And then, of course, COVID came and I never got around to that. But it's still something I want to do. And then these are all washed, and then they are twisted around. And when they are dried, you pull them apart and then you back them with a backing material into whatever position you want them to be, whether it's pleated or scrunched here, there, and the other place. You can do whatever you want with them. Use them on your clothing, on quilts, however.
Wow, look at all those.
Yeah, these are the hand dyed or hand painted, however you want to put it, lucite. And I absolutely love incorporating these. You can do bunches of them because they're so lightweight. They're beautiful. And of course, there again, I'm in my element when I start dyeing them. And here's a picture of one of the lampshades I did. That's not real interesting yet. I've got to add some stuff to it. But it's a wall of check glass. And it goes down to the findings. And I should tell you, let's see, I'm going to just move quickly here. I should tell you that picture up there is one that Zelly did. My grandchild that put the PowerPoint together for me. And she is quite an artist in her own right, but she does it very infrequently these days. And here's another wall of beads.
Are those cowboy boots hanging up there?
They are.
Did you embellish cowboy boots?
Yes. And then there are those
Oh my God,
Doc
Martens.
Martens.
I love
Doc
it.
Martens. Yeah. Those are vintage Doc Martens. They are worth a lot of money. I wish I could sell them. And those were my heel boots. Yeah. At one time, you know. Now I don't go that high. Be falling over. But I try to keep a full wall of all different sizes and colors. And same thing with my seed beads. I don't just have the basic colors. I search out different colors. And I also buy vintage seed beads. And those, when you get a color you like, you better buy a lot of them because they can't make them anymore. They come from certain sand pits that are no longer available. So that's what's interesting also to me. And this is my door of more check glass. And I also, I have another door in the other room. I also hang my trunk shows there. And I try to have 3 or 4 trunk shows a year. And this is just some of the doodads, chain, interesting findings, basic findings, fun little stuff like that, you know. This was an interesting thing Rochelle pointed out. One of my friends who, when I did shows around the area, used to put my tent up for me. And then he would take it home because it would always rain. He would take it home and put it in his yard and dry it out for me and make it good for the next show. And so I hang interesting things on that piece. And here's one of my ugly dolls. Love her dearly. But she is ugly. And just another case of beads. Swarovski crystals.
Very pretty.
And I don't have too many of those. Well, I have plenty of them, but I don't sell them. And so, yeah, we all do that, right?
Mm.
We hoard them. We have a stash. Got to have that stash. Could never have too many things in that almighty stash. And there's behind this jacket, there is a formal that I wore for something. I don't know what it would have been because I don't, like I said, I was pretty
Your
not
side,
into dances.
everything is sideways, Lee.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh dear. Well, they weren't hanging, they were laying flat.
Everything
Yeah.
is color coordinated. I am so impressed.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
This is my little tutu skirt. I told Rochelle about that. Dance class recitals when I was in grade school. And so that's probably from 1950 something. But I loved it. You know, there again, those toe shoes and tutu skirts and all that stuff. That was right up my alley. And these shawls come from, well, the yarn comes from France. And they're very lovely. A lady and her mother make those for me.
That's pretty. Pastel one too.
Yes.
Those jackets and lampshades you painted too, didn't you?
Yes, yes. That's Monet. Yeah. And here's my latest cute little lampshade.
Oh, that's nice. Okay.
Like I said, you just I
You
can't.
could take a class on how to do the lampshades. I bet you that would be.
Yes, I could do that. That would be fun.
We do need to make crowns for our 35th anniversary party. I think that would be an adorable little hat.
Oh, sure. Why not? This is one of the collars I made long time ago. I don't think I ever wore it.
It's like
I think we
citrine.
make a lot of stuff we never wear, but it's just so much fun to make.
Right, right. That's it in a nutshell.
Do you have one of your purses that you were going to make with that batik fabric?
You know, I never finished one. Well, maybe I did, but I don't believe I have it here. I may have one that I did for my daughter's wedding that is in the case. When we get to that case.
Like another purse up there. That's embossed.
Yeah, that's 1940s. My former husband's aunt. She was married to a very wealthy man and came from Mexico. So when mom died, I got the bag.
That's cool.
Another lampshade. Some more shawls.
Your favorite thing to do? Lampshades, purses,
Yeah.
necklaces. What's your
Yeah.
favorite?
What's my favorite? Oh boy, that would be very hard because at different times I have different favorites. So right now I am really liking lampshades. and that kind of thing, where I just, that was, by the way, that tree was my grandma and grandpa's 50th wedding anniversary display, and all silver dollars were hung on it for their celebration. And
Wow.
it sat in my mom and dad's basement for years. And when we were cleaning stuff out, I said to mom, daddy's probably going to want to throw that tree away. I want that. She said, take it. So I did. So it's very useful to me.
Mhm.
Do you work
And
on your projects in your shop, or do you work on them at home, or where do you work?
stuff like that I work on at home. I do some beading at home. The painting I do at home. Like the lampshades and my clothing that I paint. Let's see, where is that other thing I want to show you? Oh, yeah, like this jacket. That I did at home. I don't like to be interrupted when I'm doing something like that. It's like the lampshades. I don't like to be interrupted because I lose the flow.
Very cool. I love your displays. I mean, I could see us like having one little wall in our house and then creating a vignette with our jewelry. I mean, it's
Yeah.
really inspirational.
And like this piece,
Lamps.
I'm not crazy about beige, and so I had to change that by a little bit. And this piece, when you talk about Art Deco, she is like the Art Deco bomb.
Yeah, oh, cool.
And this is my trunk show. It's a door full of lots of the newest cuts, newest types of beads, newest stones that have been mined. And like I said, I like to have 3 or 4 of those a year. And there again is that butterfly. This piece, this is a class I'm going to be doing. I'm not exactly sure when, but this summer sometime. And then I have a really exciting one coming up. I'm not exactly sure. It's going to be early fall. I'm going to be making Christmas trees and fully beaded Christmas trees. So that should be a really fun project. And here, I don't know if there's too much glare in here or not, but that's some more of my work.
I just love how colorful and organic everything is.
Yeah,
Layered, as you
I definitely have fun with my beads.
Some of your pieces remind me of why we have a bead stash.
Yes.
Like, you could not create it. Some of those things, unless you like had a few things with the ideas, and then you'd have to go back and buy some other stuff to go with it to create such a very cool organic colors, piece of jewelry. Very cool.
I want to bring you my favorite jean jacket and have it painted. I love
Well,
this stuff.
absolutely. I'd love to do that for you.
I do that. I
How
like
far is Wausau from the Twin Cities?
About 6 hours.
Okay. Oh, that's really pretty.
road trip.
No, it's not 6 hours. It is
Isn't
4
it?
hours,
Oh,
and
look.
that includes the stops. To my house, I'm 35 minutes beyond Wausau, and I get here in 4 hours with a stop or 2. So Wausau would probably be 3.5.
Well,
Yeah,
I guess I'm a slow driver.
oh my God.
Maybe she's taking some more scenic spots. stops.
Right. There's an awful lot of glare on these, but
I suppose if you're coming like from way south of the cities like Bloomington and across the river, it might be longer, 5 hours.
So definitely a fun summer road trip, I think, or to go see the colors. So the classes you offer, they're online or are they on Zoom?
I
Or,
usually,
or in your shop or
yeah,
how many? Oh,
I usually do them in my store. Um, this is the first Zoom meeting I have ever done. I've never participated in anything like this where I have been a speaker.
What
well,
kind
I
of
think
paints do
great
you
job.
use on your jean jackets and your lamps? Do you use the same type or?
Of paint,
Mhm.
or I use a menagerie of things.
Okay.
A lot of times I start with a pen.
Mhm. That's
Flash
what.
showing you. That is those are inks.
Mhm.
And that one is a combination of ink and paint.
I
I
love
just,
that shape. That's really cool.
isn't that a cool, yeah, a cool shape? Yeah. And like I told Rochelle, this lamp came out of a mansion in Minnesota? No, Michigan. Uh, my son-in-law Bruce gave that to me, so that's going to stay with me until I die. And here's another fun one that I did with beads and flowers applied. Just a little scene of a little wooded scene. And then just little
Gorgeous.
bunches. Thank you. And a little vest. And then my daughter's salsa. She has a salsa company in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. And I sell her salsa here too.
What's the brand name of your salsa?
Chip magnets.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Chip.
And chip magnet, just like the hot cars chip magnet.
Oh, raise your snack standard. I love it. That's great.
Yes. And it's really good stuff. She does a wonderful job at that. So when you walk into my store, this is kind of what you see.
Well, it really looks like a charming shop, and what a wonderful atmosphere you've created there.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
I can see why Rita's been raving about it.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
thank you, Rita.
I just love to go. She's amazing. Absolutely.
A little bit very artistic. I mean, there's art everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah, there kind of is. That's just like my house. My house is 1911. It was built in 1911 by one of the mayors. And it's got the great woodwork and the 10-foot ceilings, not 12, 10-foot ceilings. But the woodwork is fabulous, and wood floors. And I have the floral carpets, the oriental carpets, and lots of lamps like you see here. I used to go to to every what do they call them, yard sale or antique store or whatever, and I'd always come home with 2 or 3 lamps. So I've got a lot of lamps with or without shades, but if they have shades, you know they're going to be decorated pretty soon if they're plain.
Wow.
So anyway, that's all I've got.
You inspired us all to go home and decorate our houses and embellish and even just set up our galleries in our dining rooms. Why not? You know?
Why not? Yes.
So I really think that is very inspiring.
And few pieces of furniture and lamps, and then our beadwork and
And our jackets and scarves and
Right.
thank
Yep.
you so much. And this really has been a joy. And
Well, thank you too. I enjoyed it also, and hopefully sometime in the future, I'll meet some of the people that were at this meeting.
yeah, we look forward to it because you are now a new member of the Upper Midwest Bead Society for 1 year, giving you our 1 year, um, what do you call membership? Sorry,
Membership.
sorry, words are failing
Memory
me.
lab.
Look
Memory
forward
lab.
to having you more at our meetings, and hopefully we'll, explore Wisconsin and get to see your shop.
That would be wonderful. And thank you again.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yay. And this meeting will be recorded as well, and we're uploading it to the private Zoom so that if anybody missed the meeting, then they can watch it again in the future. And so we will hope to see everyone at Stoned and Wired, and we'll get wired and stoned. Oh, sorry.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Rochelle.
There's the other kind of stoning too, where I have vodka here. And what's that other stuff? Kahlua. So we can have a Black Russian.
I was gonna say Black Russian.
Yeah.
We'll bead and wire wrap and paint. We'll have a
And
blast.
yes, sounds great. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everyone. You have a wonderful.
I was just gonna say, have a good evening, everyone. Rest of it.
Thank you.
Sleep well.
Bye-bye.